The difference in Africa is that some people are lazy to take that war to arms. They will rather leave their countries and allow the West to continue pillaging their minerals and flee to other countries like South Africa and continue to create chaos. And that's the difference between many Africans and us. We tend to stay on the ground and face this Western monopoly on our shoulders, but at the same time we are expected to carry the burdens of people who fled their countries because they can't face this Western monopoly. That's a huge difference, and that's what we are saying, you know. So with Ghana, the birth of Kwame Nkrumah himself, Kwame Nkrumah was this guy who schooled in USA, followed the school thoughts of ANC and the Black Americans, came back to sell the Pan-African kumbaya to Africans. Kwame Nkrumah himself never married a black sister from Ghana. He chose to marry an Egyptian from Egypt. I don't know what was his plan, but anyway, the people of Ghana ended up voting that guy out because Ghanaians are conservative people. They don't agree with Pan-Africans. They didn't like his stance on Pan-African, and he loosened their borders so much. I mean, the Ghanaians are the first people to show Africans that you can deport other Africans out of your country in their numbers. So that's one of their historic achievements. They sent many Nigerians home back in the days. So hey, I don't have anything against them doing that, but they're the first people to actually show us that this Pan-African kumbaya, it's not practical, it's not gonna work. So they were right in doing so. So I mean, if you look at South Africa, for example, Johannesburg was built on what we called the gold rush, when they discovered the large amount of gold. Ghana has been the leading producer of gold in Africa for about maybe 10 years now, ahead of South Africa. But Ghana has nothing to show like Johannesburg. There's no city that was built on the gold rush. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done in Africa, because that gold itself has only left Ghana, you know. Whereas in South Africa, the story of South Africa is quite unique. Our resources don't just live like yours. They tend to actually be utilized in our land, and you can see the result. You know, I mean, the richest city in Africa, Johannesburg, was built on the gold rush. You produce the leading gold today for more than 10 years. You have nothing to show. You know, so your best city there in Ghana, which is Accra, it can barely be in top 10 in South Africa. So that alone shows that you have a lot of work to do there in Ghana, and we want your focus there. Ghana also produces one of the leading nations that produce cocoa. I think it's called cocoa. Cocoa, I think it's what they use to make coffee and stuff. So I think it's only recent that you... Yes, cocoa. It's what cocoa?
For chocolate, they make chocolate and coffee as hot beverages and chocolate and other stuff. Yes.
Yeah, it's cocoa.
Cacao.
Cocoa is for that powder.
So his government is only now recently that they tried to make sure that countries like Switzerland don't just take all that and leave them with nothing. And recently we've seen Nana Akufo going to America to back Joe Biden. He did not even ask African Union. He did not even ask South Africa or Egypt. Went straight to White House to you know, to beg Biden and to track for Biden there to ask him to come to West Africa to help them fight their brothers, Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso, who took their arms and resisted the colonizer, kicked the French out. So you've got bigger issue that side, you know. And Nigeria, your partner there, Ghana, they were behind you. Tinubu was behind Nana Akufo, leading ECOWAS, attempting to invade the three brothers who are actually liberating themselves. You know, if we have to talk about cowards who are the least liberated people in Africa, it has to be countries like our Nigeria and Ghana. How do you even do such? But anyway, we have them coming here online to lecture us about the global affairs, to lecture us about the Western monopoly. Yet you have got leaders who are defending the Westerners in your country. You can't make these things up, guys. The misplaced priorities. They know a lot about South Africa. They have a lot to say about South Africa. It's the misplaced priorities that always gets me by shock. Like how you have a president that is trying to fight a brother who's fighting to liberate himself, who has done well in that. But you got the nerve to come and lecture South Africans about the global affairs. I mean, for heaven's sake, we are even fighting for you to be allowed on BRICS because you simply have no power. You don't have independence. You don't know what independence tastes like. You have to report everything to the West that you do. And we are trying to lead you and show you that it's possible to have sovereignty. It's possible to be part of the global village where you can be important, but clearly, so we can't be arguing Nigeria. Nigerians don't know nothing about geopolitics or global affairs because clearly your leaders are a good example. And Nigerians like to separate themselves from their own leaders. Like, no, it's politicians. It's just politicians. Tinubu is a Nigerian. All your politicians are Nigerian. And that's the best you can do. Your politicians are your reflection. These people are not aliens like they fell from planet Nibiru or Europa. No, they are coming out of your society. And Tinubu is the best of what you can produce. And Tinubu is your responsibility. So definitely, so we can't be lectured by you. We should be lecturing you about how to run global affairs, how to approach these things, how to deal with the enemies and stuff. You don't have any moral ground to tell us anything, because clearly we can see. I mean, the oil is leaving Nigeria every day. It's said that Nigeria is the leading producer of oil in Africa. The leading producer of gas. You look at their best cities, apparently is Lagos and Abuja, and you just have to laugh from a distance. So you guys have got serious burning issues. You here to even build toilets on your own. So I mean, there's a lot we can unpack there. There's a lot of things to say, but unfortunately we keep saying these things every day. It's never gonna work. And Nigerians are committed to compete with South Africans for whatever the reason. Very weird. You need to focus on fighting the actual war in Nigeria. Your politicians are instilled by the West to lead you. I mean, you got a Lebanese group there, which is a big problem for you. You got, like, for example, the Lebanese brothers, who are actually the current biggest project in Nigeria, the ECOWAS. It's a section of Lagos, which is supposed to be maybe like what Rosebank is to Johannesburg or Melrose Arch. Then even the little development you're doing there, it's not owned by Nigerians, it's not done by Nigerians, it's done by the Lebanese. That's a Lebanese project. Nigerians are not doing any serious project in Nigeria. The current railway projects that are happening in Nigeria are done by Chinese, literally. So you guys have and 220 million people. The other projects you guys are doing is the Dangote refinery project. You look at who's leading that. It's the North Koreans, the Indians. The only Nigerian on site who's building that project is just Dangote, who's part of the investors. Nigerians don't have skills to work there and do anything of value. So clearly, Nigerians will rather live in South Africa. I always say that the poorest Nigerian in South Africa is better. It's better than 99% of Nigerians in Nigeria. The poorest Ghanaian in South Africa is better than 99% of Ghanaians in Ghana. I think my time is up, and thanks for allowing me to speak, host.
Thank you so much, Maboso. Cooking as always. Thank you so much for that beautiful submission. Is there anybody? Oh, Mr. Grantlox, I think he's next in line. Mr. Grantlox, you can unmute your mic, and good morning.
Yeah, son, Bonan Melam Patriots. Hey, I was listening when I joined. Yeah, I was listening to someone especially the issue of Orania and all that. It's a simple diversion from the issue of illegals and talking about Orania. And if they're listening here, for starters, let me say this. I have no desire to unite with racists. Orania, they can go and build whatever castles they want there on that piece of land. I don't give a damn. The same way. There are many golf estates and various others. I don't live there. I'm not even allowed to be there and all that. It's not even an issue. Now, I don't understand why some of the people want to find the equivalence between people coming here illegally, especially Nigerians and Zimbabweans, and some Afrikaners that I found here myself. I was born in 1975. They're already here 200-300 years earlier, or whenever they came to the country, and they've always been part of the society, including the Israelites that I despise, by the way. They are here owning many of the bigger companies in the JSE, and we've accepted that. In addition to that, our immigration laws are clear. We accept everyone who qualifies to be in the country, and those who come to stay and overstay their visit, knowing very well that they came under false pretenses. We have no desire to see them in South Africa, and I don't care whether you are black or white. I always say there are many South Africans that I don't like. Some even in my family. So if you wanna come and tell me that I'm self-hating, I still don't give a damn. I don't like some of the South Africans, and there's no way if you come with a square head from Nigeria and think I like you, especially if you're illegal. I have no desire to unite with Nigerians, for starters, especially illegal ones. Not even Somali or Pakistanis. I don't even buy from their shops. So people want to be selective and want to direct the discussion and all that. And also, we are living in an era of 4-5 IR. You look at the migrants that New Zealand, Australia, Holland are accepting in their countries, and from time to time we are told, even the UK, we are told, yeah, South Africans are in other countries and all that. But look at the recruitment policies or migration policies of those countries. They want the best of the best. In South Africa, we don't get that, unfortunately. And that's the thing that those thick Nigerian skulls don't want to understand, because to them it's about justifying the presence of their brothers. And like now, someone was invalidating the concerns of South Africans. And guess what? The culture, what? Is in the US, the land of the oppressors, the biggest oppressors and hypocrites. You see how they are unaliving Palestinians in the Middle East. And they are there. Comfortable to be there because they want to be close to the master and to brag at the end of the day. And I mean, let's be honest, people who are running away from their country and being illegal in another country, what economic or major contribution can they possibly make in the whole world that they couldn't make in their own countries? Especially when they come to a country that's been surviving with better infrastructure than theirs, the last born of the females to get independence. That's doing very well. What contribution can they make? I hope, let's say by now, Joburg is threatening to do water cuts. That's a problem we are having. And also I was reading something a few minutes ago. ESCOM is also threatening, those of us who are Joburg residents, ESCOM is threatening to cut off City of Joburg municipality and all that. And I talked to some of them. They don't pay water. They're using illegal connections. There's a squatter camp not far from where I stay. I'm in the south, Joburg South. That side of Crown Mines and all that. It's all Malawians, Zimbabweans, Lesotho nationals, and a few locals who are staying there. The guy, Malawian boy, is telling me that no, we use illegal connections there. And the police disconnected us last time, but we are back there. Now, that's one of the issues we are dealing with. The issue of lawlessness. The government not enforcing our rules. Simple rules or simple bylaws. And now people come and tell us that no, our government must enforce the laws and all that. And we told them on the immigration issue, the issue of track and trace, it's something that we don't have. We are not as advanced as Botswana, Namibia. And because you also need a bit of hostility towards these migrants, and also making the laws that don't favor them, so that they know very well that they don't have to come here. But we know that the root cause, we're dealing with the symptoms here. The root cause is that our laws, that's the starting point. Our laws are not really always in favor of South Africans, because we have chosen to become Father Christmas of the whole world. which is why they come here, and once they're here, they know they'll come up with all types of excuses that you are applying for asylum and this and that, or I'm coming on a study visa. I mean, a 50-year-old Nigerian coming here on a study visa. And we know parallel offices, home affairs offices that have been happening, from marriage scams to Pakistanis in Randfontein and whatever. So our government doesn't enforce those laws, which is why citizens are standing up. And people still come here and tell us that, yeah, but you must tell your government. Where the ANC government is useless. That's why many of you saw even the ones that got arrested yesterday in, is it KZN, who wanted to run away, even from the police. That's how much they disrespect the police. They come here and attack our police stations and all that. That's how much lawlessness we are having in the country. Also, we're dealing with the issue of low conviction rate in the country. Now, some of you in the comments saying Nigerians are not a problem in the country when it comes to crime. I told you before, crime only talks about incidents that have been reported. It doesn't talk about people who committed crimes and they were never arrested. You know, so the prison population is not a good reflection of you saying, no, but 2% of foreigners are only as per your prison stats and all that. It doesn't talk about people who pay their way out of prison, people who are never arrested because they can't be traced. Our conviction rate is less than 20% in the country. We have a lot of crimes, unaliving crimes, rape and others that go unsolved for the longest time and all that. Now, if you're talking about a country that has a conviction rate of 80-90%, then I would say you make sense and all that. So those are some of the challenges we're dealing with. And now beggars, foreign beggars who are here illegally, I'm talking Pakistan, Chinese or whoever, who are in the country, they are compounding the problem. Our police are overwhelmed in terms of the policing standards as well. You know, Brigitte mentioned that 2-3 years ago that here we have one policeman for 500 citizens. Throughout the world, the norms are one policeman for between 150 and 250 people. But in South Africa, the problem is we are overwhelmed. Our police are overwhelmed. In addition to that, we're dealing with the issue of corruption among the police because we must see them. They go that side to collect a lot of bribes, especially among those illegal workers, that side of China City. And the issue of training is one of the other problems as well. So as citizens, we are government. Don't tell us that government must do something. We are government. They have to act according to our mandate. If they don't do that, we remove them. Botswana has shown the way. Zambia has shown the way. And various other countries that removed the longest rulers. Well, with Cameroonians and Uganda, I think they are happy to be having presidents for life in their countries, or even Zimbabweans to be having the same party that's displacing them for the longest time. So therefore, we are not going to be keeping quiet, and we are not going to be repeating the same thing to retards who don't even want to listen because they're trying to push the agenda. And lastly, I would advise you, Pan-Africanists, because you have skills and you want to see the development of Africa, as per what you are saying, that all of you are in diaspora, in the UK, wherever, and those of you are in South Africa, a hateful country according to you. There's a lot of countries that are poor with lower GDPs that need your skills. I believe you can contribute and play a role there in making sure that you uplift them. Burundi, Gabon among them, lower GDPs, Zimbabwe, Namibia, you know, many other countries in West Africa, Congo, Brazzaville. Go to those countries and make sure that you preach your Pan-Africanism there and make sure that you apply your skills to make sure that you grow economies there, so that when you say every part of Africa belongs to Africans, and you know that you are making a contribution in all those countries, instead of some of your families are government employees who looted state funds. Now you are enjoying those millions here in Cape Town. We see you, we know you. It's been happening for anyone from DRC, you know, Nigeria, and various other countries. And that's part of the lawlessness that our government has allowed. Fugitives who looted their governments, they are hiding in Cape Town and living large, buying, prostituting young kids, you know, driving expensive cars and all that. And you expect us to be quiet about that. No, we are not going to be silenced. So that's the advice I'm giving you, that start picking up, because it's not going to be comfortable. In the next few years in South Africa, you're going to feel like you are sitting on top of a fire, to quote Idi Amin. Therefore, make your way out of South Africa to go and contribute in other countries.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hloks. Who's next? Who's next, Zo?
Let's give it to Dreams. Dreams hasn't said so much.
Okay.
No, these people they've said they've said enough. Like they've said enough. Yeah, they've said enough. Everything that they said, then I'm satisfied about it. Especially Milk and this Mr. Who just recently talked right now. But the thing is, here in South Africa we have a problem with this, with the influx of foreigners, and these people they always come here. I was reading the comment section here. Like these people, when we talk about real things, they get pain. They call us names like and us South Africans, especially
The truth
us
is giving them chest pains. They can't handle the truth.
Especially us, the patriotic South Africans. We are trying by all means to make our country a home for our descendants. Imagine having a kid right now or in upcoming years, knowing that chances of your kid using powder are there and are very like those chances are very big for your child to be indulged in the powder, and those things we don't love them, we don't like them anymore. But one thing I've noticed about these people, every time when we speak out the truth, they always tell us, no, you are the xenophobic country. Like I like this lady here, Milk. She said that a lot about those foreigners. They said, you guys, now you are speaking about South Africa, but you this guy from Ghana, you are busy. You have fled Ghana to live in USA. But us South Africans are here in our country trying to, what do we call this? Trying to fix our country, Yeah, but I think I'm satisfied about everything that everyone has said here. Can let someone can even take over. Me, I'm fine.
Thank you.
The country Muslim in the world, in the world. So meaning if he says white people global, meaning even if there is 1% of white people in Zimbabwe, he's including them, that we are making them happy. So in South Africa we have them. So if he says white people, yes, that means he's including them. That's why I was including them, that they are our fellow South Africans because of the agreements that we have. And we are not going to discuss our problems with them. Today the topic is them. We are not going, our problems, economy here, land, yes, we will have that topic. It's our problem. Let them leave it for us. We didn't ask for their help. When we need their advice or their help, they can come in. There was this other, I don't know that lady, and I respected her so much. I like her things and all that. But then when she was talking, when we were about to vote, she's a Zimbabwean. When we were about to vote, she said, yeah, South Africans need to understand that they must vote for this party and this party. You were having elections, madam. You were not saying anything about this, voting for ZANU-PF or voting for whoever. They were quiet about it, and we were also quiet about it. Our people went there to support and whatever that is happening in the country, so be it. So, but then now when it's South Africa, they want to become popular and say, hey, South Africa must do this. And you know what? The good thing about this whole thing is that at least now we know that we are the cream of Africa. We are the country of Africa. When something is happening in South Africa, they always have a lot to comment. Their leaders and their whatevers, they have something to say. But when there is a lot of things happening, they were quiet when there was the gold mafia thing. I don't know if you've seen it. The gold mafia things, Al Jazeera helped them and exposed it a few months before their elections. They were busy making groups, talking on WhatsApp. When you check, 90% of the people who are on that group, they are from outside they are not even in their country. They are not even intending to come home to come and vote. A simple thing, to come and vote. They are not intending to do that. They are busy discussing that hey, the gold is being stolen, the gold is being taken to wherever by their prophet and their minister of what and their president and whatever. They were not saying anything. And South Africans, we were quiet. When we started talking about it, they said, yeah, but South Africa is the enabler because these people are washing money on them and whatever. How is that possible that we are the enablers? If this money comes, is it written that this money came to Zimbabwe illegally because they stole the gold or whatever? If they come and buy things here in South Africa, are we supposed to send them money? We are busy trying to raise an economy. We are not saying it's right what was happening to them, but then we